Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Burn Pancakes podcast, the podcast where we are opening up conversations about real motherhood. I'm your host, Katie Fensky, reminding moms that everyone burns their first pancake. Now, before we get to today's episode, I want to give a little plug to a product that I have created. For anyone who is new here, I'm not only a mom of three and a podcast host, but I am also a potty training consultant. So I help parents navigate the sometimes messy process that is potty training. This year, I launched my digital potty training course because I wanted something that I could have used when I was a first time mom and had no idea how to start and get through the many challenges that I encountered when I potty trained Ronan. So, with 8 years of experience with potty training, I took all the things that I learned and the tips that I teach with my one on one clients, and I compiled them into one easy to consume course. So, this is something that you can watch at your own pace from the comfort of your home or simply listen to it on the go like a podcast. So, whether you're wondering how to start potty training or you've attempted it and it was a disaster, let's all admit it. It's not fun. It's not easy all the time. This course is designed to take all the stress and anxiety out of the process. So you can check the show notes below to learn more about the course and my other potty training offerings. Now back to today's episode. This one is a solo episode, and I'm talking about a subject that has literally consumed my life for the last 9 weeks. I'm talking about screen time. Yes, it's that glorious double-edged sword that kept my kids entertained this summer and somehow also turned them into screen-obsessed monsters. Now, if you had a plan to balance tech and outdoor play this summer and it all went to hell around week one, same. I'm right there with you. So this is your safe space. Today, I am getting real about our summer screen time spiral, the sibling battles that followed, and how we're now attempting a screen detox now that school is starting. So, spoiler alert, it's not going to be perfect, but we are trying our best to get back on track. My boys started school this week, and honestly, I was so ready for a break from that constant nagging about screen time. The constant like, can I play this? Why not? Can we watch a show? It was just draining. So, let's just start and talk about how summer went. During the school year, we do a no video game rule on weekdays, and they are allowed to play on weekends. So basically, from Friday to Sunday, video games are allowed. During the week, they're not. We had to implement that rule because it started to get out of hand. Now, we generally try to limit how much they play on the weekends, but with having the no screens or no video games during the week, that rule just means like it's just not an option and there's less arguing about it. This summer, they could watch TV, so that was not eliminated during the week. But just like the school year, we've also tried to just stick with after dinner, they can watch TV. Now, I say try because that's not always the case, but it's a really good boundary for the school year. So I thought we'd be able to transition to summer and kind of keep the same rule. So in terms of devices, we have a Nintendo Switch, an iPad, and they do have an Xbox. That one, it's more my husband's. They don't use it as much, but it's still there. Now, the problem with this is that some games are only on the iPad. And since we only have one and three kids, obviously you can see this leads to lots of problems. Like I personally would like to just get rid of the iPad, but we're kind of too far in. So it's here to stay. So we have that. I am not going to be buying two more iPads just so they all have one. I am like, trying to force my kids to learn how to share. So the current obsession right now is Roblox, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. I'm actually kind of embarrassed to admit it. I don't really understand that game, but from what I've seen, it looks really dumb, but the kids are obsessed with it. All three of mine. I hate that there's like these events or updates that they schedule at certain times. So like, hey, at Friday at 9, there's a new update. So now all the kids are begging to use it so they can get like the best fruit or the best skins or whatever is happening. all of the friends are all playing it and asking, like, did you do the update or the event? And I just feel like this game is designed to make them get on and make them obsessed. So when I hear that, like when my kids hear that their friends are on it, they beg to go on too. And if they don't, it's like FOMO out of control. So that's currently where we're at right now. Now, we also have an extra TV that the boys have in their back playroom. It's not their bedroom. So we have like an added on room. We call it the sunroom. And that's where like their books and toys and all their games are out there. So in the evenings, it's been really nice to just say, you can go watch a show in the sunroom. Usually the stuff that they want to watch, I have no interest in at all. Um, and this allows like my husband and I to watch a little show or a baseball game and not have to wait till they go to bed to watch something. Because let's admit it, bedtime has been getting later and later, especially in the summertime. So by the time I would actually get them in bed, I would be falling asleep anyways. So I know it takes away from like having family time together, but honestly, it's been a really nice break for my husband and I to like have an extra hour together in the evenings while they watch their show on their TV. We can watch ours, and it's working for us. Okay, so summer started off okay. We stuck to the no TV until after dinner rule and no video games until the weekend. And that lasted maybe until 2 weeks in. And I had to start making some exceptions. The boys did go to baseball camp. Two of them went to baseball camp all day. And when they got home, they were super tired. So I let them watch a little TV in the afternoon. That was kind of like downtime. Because of that, I feel like the boundaries kind of loosened a little bit. And then we would get home from the beach and they were tired from the beach. So they'd watch TV, or I would have a potty training consultation and I would let them watch TV just so they would be quiet and not disturb me. So by week 9, they were getting up at 7 a.m. and turning on the TV. It just kind of became that. I couldn't stick to the boundaries as much. Another problem we ran into this summer is not necessarily this summer, but we allowed Ronan, who is now 11, to add his email to the iPad so that he can text friends and he can FaceTime them. And I just thought, oh, that's cool. Like he wants to get in touch with his friends. I like this idea of him being able to communicate with them. So many of his friends have phones, and it kind of drives me crazy because now my son thinks I'm the mean mom because I won't buy him one. Here are a few reasons why we haven't done it yet. For one, they're crazy expensive, and I'm not ready to add another phone to our plan. He is just not responsible enough to take care of something so expensive and so nice. Like I see the way he treats his bike, his toys, how he just throws things all over the floor and doesn't pick it up. And I'm afraid he would just lose the phone. So I'm like, you're not ready for something quite so expensive. And also, I just don't feel like kids right now should have them yet. We are managing without one, but it is really hard. Now, like I totally understand why parents are doing it. We have a lot of friends that work and they need to make sure that their kids can get a hold of them when they're home alone. Like we're finally at the age where, kids are staying home by themselves and there are no landlines anymore. So obviously they have a phone so they can call their parents. Um, Other kids that we know, like families will bring them to practice to go to sports, or they walk to and from school. So this is a way for parents to keep in touch. And I get that. But I do feel like 90% of the time, these phones are not being used for communication tools. Kids are using them mostly to play games and to send each other YouTube videos, to watch YouTube videos. When my son does FaceTime, which I thought, oh, that's cool. Like they're interacting and they're talking to each other. They are playing Roblox together and all they're doing is talking about what's happening on the screen, or like not talking at all, just playing the game at the same time. I told Ronan that the first phone that he is going to get, we're not sure when that's going to be yet. I'm hoping to hold off till high school, but the first phone that he's going to get will be able to call and text. So not watch videos, not send videos, not play any games. And every time we discuss this, he gets super pissed at me. to the point that he's been in tears before when we talk about it. And then I get like really angry too because of the pushback. It's just he uses the argument that he needs a phone to call us, but I just don't buy that. I just know that's not what he's going to be using the phone for. And if we're just giving him a phone to call and text, that should be enough, right? Hmm. I just, I really wish more parents held off on phones until high school, um, or only gave out phones that could call and text because it's making it so much harder for me right now because my son feels like he's the only one that doesn't have it. And he's told me, like, people make fun of me because I don't have a phone. And I get that. I get the feeling of like, I'm the only one that doesn't have it. Growing up, my parents, we didn't have cable. People would talk about shows that I didn't know anything about because we didn't have cable. And yeah, I got it. I felt a little bit left out, but in the long run, I'm like, it didn't hurt me at all. So we're holding off right now and it's been hard. Now, okay, back to summertime. Um, we've gotten to a breaking point now where the boys are literally asking me every 5 minutes if they can play games. And when I say no, that results in a huge temper tantrum. They get mad. There have been tears. There have been screaming. They are slamming doors. And it's just, to me, I'm like, I don't want this to be a battle. This is ridiculous that we're having this kind of reaction over a screen. Um, I've also noticed that Ronan's friends have been calling him on his iPad about every 15 minutes to play games. And granted, he has a couple different friend groups, like his baseball friends, his football friends, his school friends. So it's not just like one kid calling every 15 minutes, it's a bunch of different groups. But he is feeling a lot of FOMO when I say, no, you can't. And then telling me, like, every other parent says they can. Why can't I? So summertime has made it like amplified just because everyone's home right now. But I'm just like, I'm at my breaking point. Um, so here's the thing that really no one warns you about. Screens don't just mess with your child's attention span, they're really messing with the peace at home. There have been arguments between the kids about how long each gets to use each device, like how they're going to share the iPad. There have been full blown meltdowns when I say no. Like I'm talking slamming doors, crying in their bedrooms. I mean, it's embarrassing to admit, but yeah, that's how my kids are reacting when I say no, they can't play Roblox. There are fights between the boys over who gets the device or how long they're going to use it. They don't know how to hand it off when the timer goes off. I've had to put devices in timeout this summer. I caught one of mine trying to sneak it and play without me seeing it, like hiding in a corner playing. So we had rules, but the rules have kind of changed depending on the weather, what was happening that day, how much energy I had to fight the battle. And the worst part is the more screen times they've had, the worse their behavior has become. It's like clockwork. They became cranky and irritable and impatient and like obsessed with playing something. And then my patience level is just shot and my mood and my ability to control the yelling has also declined. We went camping over the summer, and I'm telling you, the whole time, not one of them asked for a device. It helped that we did not bring in the iPad with us, so there was no option. And I had like zero reception on my phone, so they couldn't even like use that. I couldn't even use it. It was a break for me. But it really showed me that kids can entertain themselves and find things to do that aren't on screens. Recently, I took two of my boys, so Jet and Maverick, the younger two, on a road trip, and I purposely did not bring the iPad in the car. And it was actually really cute to hear them playing in the back seat. They had just brought a couple toys with them, like these little Transformer toys, and they were giggling and laughing and playing pretend. And it was really nice. I was like, oh my gosh, we did a 5 hour car ride and we did not have a device. Then on the way home, my mom was with us and she had her iPad and she let them use it. And they did watch a movie, which was nice. So, like an hour and a half, they were quiet watching the movie. But then the fighting and the whining began when they couldn't figure out how to take turns playing a game. I can't even remember what game they were trying to play. And it just became miserable because then there was a temper tantrum in the car, like, it's my turn. No, I want to play. And when I said we're taking a break from it, they lost their minds. So I completely understand that there is a time when screens are really nice to have, but I just need my kids to know that that time won't be all the time. They need to learn how to transition to not using them and be okay with that. So, because we're staring down the barrel of the new school year, I realized we need a detox. We need to get this thing under control. And I don't mean like a half-hearted, like, oh yeah, we'll try. I'm like, we need to reset and get back to like where we were at the end of the school year when they knew there were boundaries. So here's what I'm doing to get back on track with screen time. Um, I absolutely know there's going to be pushback, but what I have learned from doing this the first time, we had to take away the switch for a while from Ronan. We had to like implement these boundaries is the first week is the hardest until your kids begin to see that you're sticking to it. And then as the weeks go on, it gets a little bit easier. So I need them to know that I'm not going to be budging on these rules like we did over the summer. So I'm going to stay strong on these. We're going back to no video games during the weekdays. School and sports like keep us super busy. So kind of like their reward for working hard during the week is that they get to use screens on the weekends. That's it. So Monday through Thursday, when they ask me, I just say it's a weekday. We don't play on weekends or weekdays. So usually by Friday night, we count that as the weekend. It is really hard. The hardest, I think, for Ronan because he can see that his other friends are playing, and he gets that FOMO, like, oh, but they're on right now. Why can't I? But I'm hoping that since they all play sports too, that it's going to be limited once school starts and he's not going to feel that as much. Now, we do still do TV on weekdays, but after dinner. And because a lot of nights we have baseball practice pretty late, it's not going to be that much. Um, I really don't want them to assume they can come home from school and just switch on the TV. Usually by the time we're done with homework and have had dinner, we're like off to football practice. So I'm thinking this one's going to be a little bit easier to implement. Now, getting them back to a school year bedtime, that's going to be hard because it's been pretty late lately. On weekends, I do still want to kind of limit screen time. So we let them play, but I do want to figure out like a time cap, like how we're going to go about doing that. And we're going to try and figure out how to get the boys involved in figuring out sharing the devices. So I'm having them decide like, how much time are you going to set the timer for? And we're going to practice when that timer goes off. Here's how to hand it to my brother without ripping it out of his hand or like the whole hold on, I'm not done yet. So I also want to teach them how to wrap up the game before the timer actually goes off. So they're not like, oh, just one more minute, or I have to finish this thing. Because these games could go on forever. They don't end. So I'm teaching them how to like, here's your warning to finish up because the timer is going off in 2 minutes. Another thing that we actually are pretty good at about doing already, but I want to continue is keeping screens like in the living room at night. So this has really always been our rule is keeping the devices where we can see them. We've never really allowed them to use them in their room at night. Um, so the devices will charge in like the public area. This also allows me to see who's calling them well after bedtime. I know summer we've been going to bed late, but there are kids who are calling FaceTiming like well after 10 o'clock. So then I know like if it's not in his room, he doesn't know that friends are calling. He doesn't have to see that they're staying up later than he is. So that's just another thing that helps. It also is the time where I kind of scroll through and check text messaging. Like I told Ronan from day one that mom and dad are going to be looking at the texts that you send and that your friends send to you, just to make sure nothing inappropriate is being sent or coming through, because they do send all these, that's so stupid, all these YouTube shorts to each other. And it's very easy for them to send things that maybe I don't want him seeing or I don't want him sending to other kids. So we've had like the long discussion of like, if you send something inappropriate, you actually could get in a lot of trouble. I'm also trying to monitor just to make sure there's no mean texts going around about another kid. Like I've heard stories of kids getting their feelings really hurt because of text comments. And I just want to make sure that he knows I'll be checking just to keep that in check, make sure nothing like that is happening. We also have a rule right now, and we're keeping this one, is that we have a code on the iPad. You know, they have to punch in the code. My kids don't know what that code is. We started this rule because it was necessary. The kids were sneaking the iPad in the morning before, like we would get up, like they get up super early, or like in the middle of the day when we were busy doing something, they would go sneak and start using the iPad. So the fact that it's locked and they can't get on, they literally have to ask us, Mom, can you unlock the iPad? So at least that way you have to ask before you use it. And I always know when you get on. So we're keeping this rule. I don't know how long, but it's definitely, that one is helping me a lot. Last thing, as part of my digital detox, is I am looking for allies. I want to have other moms that are kind of aligned with what we're doing so that we can support each other. Last year, I had another mom at school, just kind of like in conversation. We were talking and she shared her concerns about screen time. And we kind of realized we're kind of both on the same page, where we haven't given our kids phones, and we're seeing like the frustration with like how much other kids are messaging and on, and how our kids are feeling left out, or like that they're mad that they don't have one. So we kind of used each other as backup with our sons. When they got mad, we would just say like, oh, well, so-and-so's mom doesn't give him one either. So boom, that's it. Or so-and-so's mom, he's not allowed to play on weekdays either. So you're not the only one. So I do feel like the more parents I find in my corner, the easier it is to stick with like what we have decided. So if you are one of those moms as well, please reach out to me. We can be each other's support group. Like email me, so katie@burntpancakes.com, or find me on Instagram, send me a DM and say, hey, I'm in that mean mom club too, where I'm not giving my friend my son a phone, or daughter a phone, and we can be each other's support. Now, is there going to be pushback on these rules? Of course. There's probably going to be tears. There's going to be bargaining, like, I'll just do this for like 5 minutes and then I'll give it to my brother. Okay. Or everyone else gets to do it. Why can't I? So I have come up with the classic, well, this is our family's rule and this is how we do it. I know there's going to be whining. I know there's going to be pushback, but the fact that we have these clear boundaries, unlike the summertime, we can just fall back right on those. Oh, well, it's Tuesday and you can't play games, but you can on Sunday, going back to that. I have learned that I have to just let go of the guilt. That's the first step. Screen times have taken over our summer. I admit it. I have used them as a babysitter more than I'd like to admit, but that doesn't mean I'm a bad mom. I was just tired, and summers are, for loosening up the schedule a little bit and enjoying childhood. I get that. Playing video games, big part of being a kid. So we had fun, and now it's time to going back to limiting it a little bit. Now I'm making that shift. It's not going to be perfect, but we're going to stick with it, even through the pushback, because I know I have support. I know it's going to be better for them. Devices aren't evil, but they are very powerful. And when they're in charge instead of me, everything is off balance. So I'm kind of trying to tip the balance back in our favor, help out the behavior a little bit that we've been seeing over the summer. So if you are feeling like screens ran your summer too, welcome to the club. You're not alone, and it is not too late to have a little digital detox and get back on track. We are figuring this out one meltdown, one screen-free weekend at a time, and I am here to support you. So if you enjoyed this episode, if you were nodding your head and screaming yes, then do me a favor and like it, subscribe to the podcast, share it with a friend, and come find me and let me know that you are ready for a detox as well. I would love to connect with you, email, Instagram, however you would like to connect. So until next time, keep those screens in check, and remember that everyone burns their first pancake, so just keep flipping.